College football is in the weirdest spot imaginable. Everybody knows there's a problem, but nobody with power wants to be the one to help make the change.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs, boys and girls. My name is Kevin Borba. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. We are also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So like I said, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss out on a moment of the coverage. Let's talk NIL. Let's talk Urban Meyer shooting down Deion Sanders' idea in the weirdest way possible. And let me just elaborate on my open, right? I think everyone in college football knows that there's currently an issue with NIL, right? I think the initial intention for NIL was to finally give back to the athletes where it's like, yeah, you know what? Johnny Manziel did make us $1 billion last year. Maybe he should profit off of his jersey selling, or, you know, whoever it is, Shedeur Sanders, for instance. I mean, he obviously got to profit off NIL, but Tim Tebow, we'll go back to Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was an iconic athlete. Maybe he should profit. The Fab Five at Michigan, they literally revolutionized basketball, college basketball, fashion, style, the basketball, the way basketball is played and recruited. They revolutionized all of it. And you know what? They didn't see a dime, right? People were wearing their jerseys. People were rocking their headbands and whatever else they wore, and they didn't see a dime of it, right? And I think the fix for college sports was like, you know what? We'll give them what they deserve. We'll pay them. And it has since turned into like, hey, we don't actually have any guidelines or rules or regulations, so kind of do whatever you want, and then we're just all going to complain about how much we hate it and how it's ruining the sport, right? And I think the transfer portal hasn't helped with that. And so Deion Sanders, like many people have said before, the Colorado head coach, Coach Prime, at Big 12 Media Day said that, you know, we need a player, we need a salary cap. He said that I think there's the easy way. He says, quote, I wish there was a cap. Like the top of the line players makes this. And if you're not that type of guy, you know you're not going to make that. That's what the NFL does. So the problem is you got a guy that's not that darn good, but he could go to any other school and they give him $500,000, or they go to another school, and they give him $500,000. You can't compete with that, and it don't make sense, right? And I think you sort of have to, I don't know how you fix that, because obviously if a program like, say, Colorado is willing to offer you $500,000, but Ohio State was like, you know what, we'll offer you $700,000, whatever it is, there's not really a perfect solution for that. But I think the salary cap is the right idea, right? I don't think we could just live in this lawless land of like, yeah, we're going to do whatever we want until the wheels fall off, because guess what? The wheels will fall off. There will be a lawsuit of some sort. There will be an issue of some sort, and we've already started to see some issues arise. And so the reason Urban Meyer's even mentioned is he says he doesn't care what Deion Sanders has to say. He was talking about it recently on his show, Triple Option with Mark Ingram, and he basically was just like, I'll read you the quote right now, because I thought it was really interesting, and I think it's kind of a hypocritical take, and I would love to hear his thoughts on this. But he says, I could care less. I mean, this is, I think, the 780th time we talked about this, but it will never happen, it being a salary cap. It will never happen because Colorado is not the same as Ohio State and Alabama and big market cities that have alumni that are willing to do that. But in a perfect world, you'd like to have it be like the NFL, but it's not. It's like Major League Baseball. And we said this over and over again. You've got the starting left side of the infield for the Dodgers making more than most major league teams. That's going to happen, right? And guess what? Baseball's trying to figure out how to fix that. I mean, I don't think there's this, like, just because things happen doesn't mean we have to accept like the side effects or the repercussions of them, right? Like, we can learn from our mistakes. And I think that's the weird part. And it's weird coming from Urban Meyer, who I don't know if he could single-handedly fix the sport himself. But I think guys like him, Nick Saban, who have been somewhat outspoken about this, you think they would be more supportive of this. And I think it sort of, I'm caught between two state of minds here, right? Like on one side, Nick Saban and Urban Meyer they benefited from paying players, whether it was over the table, under the table, whatever, all year, every year for their entire careers at Florida, Ohio State, Alabama, right? That's LSU, maybe. I don't know if Nick Saban was forking over money back then. But you know what I mean? Where it's like they have benefited from this so much where now it's like they see the problem, that it's now that everyone's trying to do it. And I mean, whatever, it works. But the thing that confuses me is, like, why aren't they being more outspoken? Why aren't they being more supportive of these ideas? Like, this was a quote from Urban Meyer in May of 2024. He was talking to Lou Holtz, and he says, and he literally called it cheating. He said, NIL has evolved into cheating. If Lou Holtz or Urban Meyer or Marvin Harrison Jr. or CJ Stroud, they want to go use their name and help sell cars, help a business, that's great. But to have a 17-year-old demand money for a visit, to pay these players a lot of money to go visit a charity for 20 minutes, and they write you a check for $50,000, that's cheating. That's not what it's all about. I'm very disappointed in where it went. That's a quote. And he said, quote, if you're a women's basketball player, like the great girl from Iowa, Caitlin Clark, and they want to put her on a billboard and pay her, they should be able to do that. But that's not what happened. What's happened is the arms race is collecting money from donors, and the donors are simply paying players. That's what I understand is happening, and I don't like that, right? So you don't like it, and people like Deion Sanders, who arguably is one of the most influential coaches in college football, is offering up a suggestion, right? And it's like, we need to make a change. And then it's like, it doesn't matter. It's not going to happen, right? Where is this continuity? Where is this, like, you know what if we all banded together, right? And I don't know if there's a coaches union or whatever, or a union of schools, but why don't we as a society, like, why do we just sometimes accept like the negativity in life where it's just like, you know what, this sucks, but hey, nothing we can do about it, right? So I don't really understand why Urban Meyer is shooting it down, right? I think if anything, he agrees with the idea, he just doesn't think it'll happen. That being said, if there's anyone who has a platform as big as him, hello, really popular podcast. I think it's top 10 in sports in the United States. And then also he's on Big Noon. You think he would sort of use his platform to sort of pioneer or push for some regulation. And I don't see why this isn't happening. Like, there's coaches, Steve Sarkisian has said it. I think Lane Kiffin has said it, where they've talked about the salary cap, right? And I think coaches want a salary cap. I think everybody in college football, probably outside of the players, honestly, who are sort of benefiting the most from this, where it's like, hey, I'm going to get the money regardless. I think everyone outside of the players wants some sort of regulation, right? And I think it'd be better off, rather than shooting ideas down from a Deion Sanders, who could probably be the face of a pretty big movement. You should probably band together and sort of figure out a way to work together to make something happen and save the sport. Because college football right now, college basketball, college athletics, it's not what it once was. And I think for all those who are going to be like, oh, like, either I don't care that the players are getting paid. I appreciate that. Love that for them. They've worked hard for this. Other athletes, there's a reason there's $1 billion lawsuit, right? They deemed it was unethical, whatever they deemed it. It was unethical for all these athletes to be producing all these profits for these schools and not seeing a dime of it. I agree with that. But this isn't that anymore, right? It's pay for play. It's pay to come here. It's pay to hold your commitment. It's pay to do that. Like, it's not what college sports were meant to be. And I think at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want. College sports was never meant to be a career, right? You don't grow up to be a college quarterback and then you've peaked in life, right? The goal is to be a professional quarterback. The goal is to be a coach or whatever. And college should be a time where you could profit off your opportunities. Like Jimmer Fredette, for instance, college, being a BYU basketball star was not his career goal. It's not his career end game. That being said, he would have made a lot of money, right? And rightfully so. But that doesn't mean all these athletes should just be holding people hostage because, oh, I want to make money. Oh, I want to be profit off my. No, that's not what it was meant to be. So I think Deion Sanders is on the right track. I think it would be more wise for Urban Meyer, for Nick Saban, Steve Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, whoever, Deion Sanders, to all get into one room and be like, hey, we can help make a change, right? I think that's the sad part about college football is, like, so many people sit idle and let things happen. And it's like, if there was anyone that could figure it out, it would be you guys. So I don't know how to figure it out legally and logistically, but I'm just the idea guy. I don't need to be the execution guy. That's on them. When we come back, we have a little bit of a weird update on Coach Prime's health because there's a conflicting-ish report, I guess you could say. This episode of Locked on Buffs, late night Locked on Buffs, is brought to you by Monarch Money. Now, if you want to save some money, Monarch Money is the perfect place to help you do that. If you ever wish that managing your money felt easier with Monarch Money, it is easier, right? Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building your wealth. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com. For 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Welcome back to Locked on Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and let's have some fun. Locked on Buffs is here to talk to you about all things Deion Sanders, all things Colorado. I did predictions yesterday. I predicted who's going to be Colorado's three biggest stars. I talked about my three biggest concerns for Colorado. And I guess this could be one of them. I didn't mention it yesterday, but Deion Sanders' health. Obviously, Coach Prime is a pivotal part of the program's success. And he's been battling something. I don't know what it is, but he's been battling something all off season. And according to a report from the USA Today, Deion Sanders is not all the way recovered from health issue, but planning to return soon. So in a recent Well-Off Media video, it says, Coach Prime said, quote, I'm still going through something. He said this to his daughter, Shalomi, and then Deion Jr., Bucky. And he says, I ain't all the way recovered. I'm getting better, though, right? And obviously that's sort of what you want to hear. But Deion Jr. said on Philip Dukes' show, Mr. Dukes is coming on the show this week, so I'm excited for that. He said, we're headed back to Colorado next week. It's a blessing. It's a long journey, a long road. And soon everyone will know the reason I haven't left this house this summer. Everyone will know in the next few weeks or so. So clearly he's still battling whatever it is, or recovering. I don't want to say battling, but he's recovering from whatever it is. And I think it's really important that Deion Sanders takes his time. Obviously, he's been through a lot. He's had limbs. I don't know if it's a limb. I don't want to misspeak there. He has had toes amputated, right? He's had countless surgeries. He's had countless procedures. He's doing countless treatments. He puts in the work, right? I think he puts in more, or about the same, if not more, work for his body now than his preparation as an athlete, right? And I think that's a testament to how hard he works to be where he is, because there's a lot of things going on with him, right? There's a lot of things that we, the people who watch the program, don't always get to see. We don't always get to know about the day-to-day of Deion Sanders, which is crazy because he's on I think one of my biggest questions for Deion Sanders, like this is just like a random pregunta, if you will, is like, when's the last time you went a day, a week without a camera being on you? Like, when's the last time you just live life and like because if you think about it, obviously his playing days, that turns into his post-career stuff, which, I mean, he had a reality show. He was on NFL Network, so he was an analyst, right? Shador and them had a little Snapchat show, and I think it was on Overtime. Still a camera crew, though, right? So he's been on camera nonstop. It's like even though he's always on camera, we don't know him and everything that he's dealing with. We don't know what he's battling all the time. We don't know the demons that he's facing. And I mean, that's okay. It's okay to have some privacy. But we know that whatever this is, it's really taking a toll on him because, I mean, he hasn't been to Boulder, and I want to say since around the spring game-ish. I don't want to speak out of term, but obviously the spring game happened. He was there, and then you go on that break, and then he's at the draft, or he was in Texas for the draft with Shador and Shiloh. So I don't know when the last time was where he was fully healthy on the mend and ready to go, but it's been a minute since he's been in Boulder. And so I would love to see him fully healthy. I hope he takes his time. I hope he's ready to get back into coaching and ready to get back into this challenge. Because at the end of the day, this is a new challenge for him, right? He's not going to have his family with him at all times. And I think he's an empty nester now. So this is, I would assume, his new passion in a way. Like, he's going to find a new passion in it because he's like it's like a new job, if you will. I don't know. For me, that's what it feels like from my perspective about his life. Obviously, I don't know him like that, but he's an empty nester now. So he's not coaching his kids, but coaching is something that he's obviously passionate about, and he still wants to help other people. And so I hope he's able to live up to his passions and expectations and hopes in coaching, because I feel like he does a great job influencing the lives of young men. And I think lost in all of the NIL and transfer portal hoopla is like, hey, at the end of the day, we're helping these young men become men, chase their dreams. And I think Deion Sanders has always had that perspective, and I love that. So hope he's all right. I hope we get to see him back soon, and can't wait to talk all things Buffs and Deion Sanders with him on the sidelines and roaming around Boulder. When we come back, we're going to talk about something that Shedeur Sanders did that isn't getting enough attention. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Locked on Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and let's have some fun. Okay, Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, the NFL draft was what it was. He fell to the Cleveland Browns. He's fighting for a roster spot. He's fighting for everything, right? He's fighting for a career. He's fighting for an opportunity. I think he'll have a career. That was a little bit dramatic on my part, but you guys know me. I have the flair for drama sometimes. But Shedeur Sanders is fighting, right? He went from like, okay, yeah, this guy's a certified lock to be a first round pick, to like, oh, this guy's a 5th round pick, and then he has the speeding tickets, and then like there's just been a lot of mockery of him, right? He had the jersey retired, and a lot of people hated on him for that. And I don't think enough people have talked about the positive things he's done in the Cleveland community. He's been active in the Cleveland community from the moment he was drafted, and he's been out and about helping as of late. So for those of you that didn't know, on June 23rd, there was an explosion that caused a massive fire, and it burnt multiple apartment units, injured 5 people, and obviously a handful of people are now without a place to live. This one stepfather, Cordell Sheffield, ran back into the building to save stepchildren. He passed away on July 10th. So the community is really going through it. And Shedeur, being who he is, knows how popular he is. He took it upon himself to make an appearance, right? He wasn't in town when the tragedy occurred, but he went out there, spent time with the kids, obviously donated, but he's out there with the kids, out there with the community, playing catch, playing cornhole, blowing bubbles, like whatever it is, taking pictures with all these people. And it's like, he gets it. And I think there's like this big negative persona around Shedeur Sanders where he's like an attention, like he does it for himself. He's money motivated. He is a confident, cocky guy that only cares about himself. And he's shown everything but that, right? And I think Shiloh Sanders has shown the same thing. I saw a video today as well. Shiloh was working, volunteering at a KFC or doing something with a KFC. And there was an elderly employee. I think her name was Miss Connie, actually. And Shiloh was like, what can I do to make Miss Connie go home? Like, what can I pay her? So he paid her $250 and was able to send her home. And it's like, I think people get so lost in this of persona that they put on the field, where it's like they're confident, they believe in themselves, and it's like, cool, they're also great people, right? And I don't think we always get to see that. So I'm proud of them. I say I'm proud of them. We're around the same age anyway, but I'm proud of them using their platforms. I'm proud of them not letting the doubters, the haters, the negative naysayers sort of get to them and prevent them from being the good people that they are. And whether people like them or not, and whether they've made mistakes in the past, because I'm sure they both have, they're trying to rectify their wrongs. They're trying to be the best person they can be. So I think that's admirable. So really big shout out to Shedeur, shout out to Shiloh, and shout out to all those who are going through it over there in Cleveland. I hope it gets a little bit better. I hope the small things in life bring them joy. And if this isn't a reminder to embrace the happy moments we have, then I don't know what will be. But either way, this has been another episode of Locked on Buffs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in on this late night show. Make me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, follow. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to be back to every day, Monday through Friday. Then when football season comes on Saturday as well. I'm trying to pick a new time to release the episodes. I'm thinking 8 a.m. Eastern. So, 8 a.m. Eastern. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section if you have a preferred time. But I think 8 a.m. Eastern, so that way everyone could wake up. It'll be right there when you're locked and loaded to start the day. You can listen or watch me on your way to work, and we'll have some fun talking all things Colorado with some cool guests. So make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Give me 5 stars wherever you have your podcast, and I will see you guys tomorrow.